The wedding was in 3 days. The dress was pressed, the venue was paid, and Sarah was supposed to be the happiest woman alive. Instead, she was standing in her kitchen at 2 a.m. holding a phone that wasn't hers and reading a message that broke everything. Can't wait until it's just us. After the honeymoon, we file. We take the house, we take the accounts. She won't see it coming. The message was from Lena, her maid of honor, her best friend of 9 years, and it was sent to Mark, the man Sarah was about to marry. For a long moment, Sarah didn't move. She just stood there, in the dark, the phone screen glowing against her face, and then she didn't cry, she didn't scream. She did something far more dangerous. She started to think. Here's what you need to understand about Sarah. She wasn't reckless. She was an accountant. She noticed things other people missed. A misplaced decimal, a number that didn't add up, a signature that leaned just a little too far to the right. Her whole career was built on following the money until it told her the truth. And right now, the money was about to tell her everything. Mark had asked her 2 months ago to add his name to the deed of the house. It's about commitment, he'd said, about building something together. She'd signed the papers in the lawyer's office, and he'd held her hand on the drive home. Now she understood. He hadn't wanted commitment. He'd wanted collateral. She scrolled up through the messages, months of them, a second phone, a second life, hidden in the glove box of his car. They'd been planning it since the engagement party. The wedding was never the beginning of their life together. It was the end of hers. The plan was simple, and it was almost perfect. After the honeymoon, Mark would file for divorce. Because his name is on the deed, the house would be tied up. Because they'd merged accounts, he and Lena could drain everything in the confusion. By the time Sarah lawyered up, there'd be nothing left to fight for. Almost perfect, except for one thing. They had 3 days left, and Sarah had the phone. Here's where most people would panic, confront him, scream, throw the ring, post it on social media, and let the world burn it down. Sarah did none of that. She took photos of every message, every date, every timestamp, every photo Lena had sent. She screenshotted the financial plans they'd sketched out, the account numbers, the transfer dates, the exact amount they expected to walk away with. Then she wiped the phone back to exactly where she'd found it, and she put it back in the glove box. And she went to bed, and she smiled. The next morning, Mark came downstairs to coffee and pancakes. "You're up early," he said, kissing her forehead. "Couldn't sleep," Sarah said, too excited. She watched him eat, and she thought about how a person could look at you every single day and be building a trap around you, and you'd never know. Until you did. By noon, she'd done 3 things. First, she called the lawyer who'd handled the deed, not to undo it, but to add a clause, a transfer on death designation that, with a single signature, routed the house to her sister in the event anything happened to her or the marriage. Quiet, legal, invisible. Second, she opened a new account at a bank Mark had never heard of. Then she moved the money. Not all of it. That would tip him off. Just enough. The savings, the emergency fund, the inheritance her grandmother had left her. Everything that was unambiguously hers, gone before lunch.
And third, the clever part, she called her boss. She'd been offered a transfer to another city 6 months ago. She turned it down for the wedding. Now she accepted it. Effective in 2 weeks. A fresh start already in motion, with a salary and a relocation package that had nothing to do with Mark. She built her escape hatch first. Then she started building the trap. The rehearsal dinner was the next night. All their friends, both families. Lena in her maid of honor dress, smiling like nothing in the world was wrong. Sarah stood up to give her toast. Everyone went quiet. "I want to thank you all for being here," she said, "for supporting me and Mark, for supporting us." She paused, looked right at Lena. "Some of you have known us for years. You've watched this relationship grow. And I think it's only fair that you know what's really been growing." She set her phone on the table, the screen mirrored to the venue's TV, and the messages appeared. One by one, the plans, the amounts, the countdown to the day they'd take everything. The room went silent, the kind of silent where you could hear someone's breath catch across the room. Mark's face went white, then gray. Lena's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Sarah picked up her glass. "The wedding is off," she said, "but don't worry. I've made sure you two will have plenty to share. The lawyer can explain it." She walked out. She didn't run. She didn't look back. She just walked, steady, the way an accountant walks when the numbers finally balance. In the weeks that followed, the story got worse for them and better for her. Mark tried to contest the house. The clause Sarah had added held. Lena's name had never been on anything, so she had no claim, only a reputation, now in ashes. Their plan had depended on surprise, on Sarah being broken, panicked, behind. They hadn't planned for Sarah being calm. 6 months later, Sarah was in a new city, in a new apartment, with her money intact, her name on her own house, and a story she told only once, the night she realized that the cruelest thing you can do to someone who betrays you isn't to destroy them. It's to be ready before they are. Because every betrayal leaves a receipt. And if you're patient enough to read it, really read it, you'll find that the person they were trying to ruin was the one holding the pen the whole time. If that story hit, you already know the type. The quiet ones, the ones who don't react, they just rearrange the board. Next episode, the betrayal goes deeper and the revenge goes further. Subscribe so you don't miss it.